going to be hanging around, so if you have questions for him about any of his poems or J-Car Press, there will be time to speak with him. Jessie Carty is up next. Jessie is a poet and essayist. She is a nominee for the Pushcart Prize. Jessie is also a social media goddess, so you can follow her on Twitter. Jessie has several books out, including Fat Girl, a chapbook that was recently published by Sibling Rivalry Press, who will also be publishing What If We Could Morph, her new book of poems. So Jessie, the stage is yours. Thank you.
The second collection, which Addie was so nice to be one of my initial readers for before it went to.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be up here today. I'm actually drove up from Charlotte this morning, so I'm slightly tired. So I got here right on time, so I'm very glad because I've never been to Wilmington before, and I've been trying to come forever.
How long a drive is it?
I did it in 4 hours.
Okay.
Wow.
So it wasn't too bad, no. I don't want to knock all this stuff over. Except I was grading papers last night till 7:30, so that's okay. So yes, I teach. Is my other job, so to speak. That's what pays for the Poetry Habit. So I teach at a community college. It started to show up in my poetry. It didn't for a while. And that has nothing to do with the first poem I'm going to read, but I'm just, saying hello. The first one I'm going to read, actually, I just wanted to read something really, really random, because I'm working on a third collection, and I thought, I'm going to read this first, just for fun. And it's called Bat Boy Falls for Meghan McCain, after the Weekly World News. They keep saying I'm a threat, bringing up that time when I was 10 and I bit the alien baby. No one bothered to ask me why. Let me tell you, he asked for it. When he reached with his potted fingers trying to touch my ears. I'm tired of being touched and prodded, but I'd take it if I could just once meet Meghan McCain. I'd sing her song, Maybe I Want to Hold Your Hand. But I wouldn't try to hold her sweet-looking pink hands unless she made the first move. They won't even let me see her at book signings. You know she wrote a great book, my dad, John McCain. I'm always turned away from her at rallies, even when I show up empty-handed, pockets turned out, toboggan pulled down to cover my ears. So that one's just fun. Take that for an assignment someday. Actually, somebody gave me that. They said, why don't you try writing something based on a character from the Weekly World News? And I'm like, okay. I'll try it. I thought I'd read a variety of things. I'm like picking things out as we get here, too, because I like to feed off of what other people are doing. So I actually have some responses for you.
Okay.
But the first thing I want to read real quick is I had this one chapbook came out, and this one looks a little rough because, of course, it's my reader copy, so it's a little beat up. But these were handmade by a press called Folded Word, and I have 2 of these left. So these were like a limited, like 75 were printed that are made like this. So I brought them with me today, so if anyone's interested, I just have 2 left. So I thought I'd read one real quick. But it's fun because it's got a narrative thing going through it, too. I ended up creating these 2 characters, a husband and wife, and they kind of speak back and forth to each other through the poems. But yet also, y'all are going to think I'm crazy for those who haven't heard me talk about this before. You'll see on the pages, a lot of them have references to the periodic table of elements. I like giving myself a challenge, so I wrote a bunch of poems based on different elements from the periodic table. Now, they don't always necessarily just say, oh, gold's in here. Sometimes it's subtle. So I wrote like 100 and some poems, and 19 survived. That'll tell you what happens when you work on a project. So this one doesn't have as much of a direct element in it, but it's called The Amateur Geologist. He calls it a path, but his bicycle wheel is tracing the furrow between old vegetable rows, the keloid scars across Gaia's back. The writer's face is downcast, searching. He stops, jumps from his bike. His bare feet collapse the dry, raised clay. He squats, claps and grins, showing his yellow teeth as he reaches down. Cradling his prize, he picks his way back to his abandoned bike, its wheels still spinning as if they had achieved perpetual motion. And somewhere, beneath the flattening field, another bit of grungy shine waits to poke out its sharp arms. So that's The weight of Adam. See, Adam, A-T-O-M. I know. You're already thinking I'm clever, right? Don't we like to be clever? Anybody else? At least we think we're clever. I love to time myself, so I'm like gonna like check my phone. And I was tweeting my way here. I stopped at the Hardee's in Laurel Hill for a quick break. The Girl Scouts were selling cookies. I'm gonna read. Actually, I want to finish with Fat Girl. I'm gonna read first from. This was my first full-length collection that came out from the same folded WordPress. They released 2 things for me, and this came out, gosh, 2 years ago now. But the first thing I actually want to read, it's called Paper House, and I grew up actually at the other end of the North Carolina coast, up in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. I almost stopped on the way here when I saw the sign for Elizabethtown, because everybody, when I would tell them where we're from, oh, you mean Elizabethtown? No, I want to stop and go, no, that's not where I'm from. So that's why I don't think I ever made it this far down the coast. I was on the other end. The first one I'm going to read here is it's not real long, but it's in 4 short little parts called That Said. And it ties into something you said. I'm responding. Today I feel lost. I'm sitting in my car next to Kekina Beach's public access walkway. I want to say I'm terribly lost. I want to give in, too. On a field trip to the Outer Banks when I was 10, I spent all my money in a dollar store. I shoved all my purchases in a brand new hot pink bag that was shaped like a stomach. I wore that bag across my chest because the skinny, slinky strap was pink and so long that when I tried to hang it from my shoulder, the bottom of the bag was at my knees. 3. I lost it, that bag, at a gas station. I set it down on the tank of a toilet and forgot it. We went back 10 minutes later. It only took 10 minutes to be taken. 4. The last stop on the trip was the beach, where someone pushed me into the not yet warm ocean, where I had to hold onto the shelly bottom to avoid the pull that said, give in.